Hello, my name is Kaylin and I read a lot, and happy Valentine's Day. Though I don't really do anything because I'm single, but as most of us in the single community, we like to live our lives, our love lives specifically, vicariously through fictional characters. So that's what I'm doing today. But it's basically just me talking about like my OTPs. If you do not know what an OTP is, an OTP is called the one true pairing, and it's basically like your ultimate ship. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and the OTP that I will be talking about is Inej and Kaz. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is not an official couple technically because they don't actually like get together or anything. They are the main like love interest for each other though in the book. I love this couple so much for they have been together like side by side, like working together and watching each other's backs for so long that they like know each other very well, and then they trust each other more than anyone else in the world. Like Kaz, who had a very traumatic past and he can't stand to be touched, allows Inej to touch him. Like she allows, or like he reaches out to hold her hand, and like that takes up a lot for him because he has gone through such a trauma. Like I don't even get, there's not even a kiss between these two characters, but the tension between the two is like just them holding hands at the end of the book made me like cry. The next book is The Raven Boys. Oops, that's upside down. The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love this series. Characters, like the couple that I would like to talk about is Blue and Gansey. There's another couple in this series that I die hard love, but Blue and Gansey kind of win it for me because I am all about that like one true love trope, and that is what we have here. A huge reason why I love this book series as a whole is the way that it's written. It's one of the most beautifully written series I've ever read, and some of the dialogue that is exchanged between these two characters and some of the inner thoughts that these two characters are thinking about each other, it's just like you can see them falling in love with each other without them even realizing it, and I think that's what makes it so beautiful. And like some of my favorite like dialogue or like there's this character analysis on Tumblr where people are told, because Blue is a psychic, or she comes from a family of psychics, and basically even though she doesn't have any psychic powers, when she is present in the room their psychic powers are amplified. But then Gansey, opposite to that, and then he's talking about his feelings about Blue, and he says, why do I like her? Like, how do I know I love her? Because she makes me quiet. And because Gansey is he has a very active brain, and the act of being quiet and being content, and oh, it's so beautiful. It's like that meme where it's like that person going like this and it's like poetic cinema. Oh my god, I love it. Is another book that I actually don't own at the moment. It is Alex and Henry from Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuinston. That book like changed my life, honestly. I say this about so many books, but like I read so many good books, that is why. So with Alex and Henry, Alex is the first son of the President of the United States, and Henry is the Prince of Wales, I'm pretty sure. I love these two because they're an unlikely duo, and I think I like that about them because, and despite all else that is happening like in their lives, like for example, like Alex didn't know that he was bisexual at the beginning of the book, and Henry was closeted, and because he was a prince, he was in the media a lot, so he like couldn't be with anyone that he wanted to be with, and he had to like pretend to be straight, and like it hurts that he had to go through that. Like, it generally hurts me, and it's like a lot of big issues with politics and images, and like trying to be like someone you're not, and also like trying to live your own truth. And then there's this line, I mentioned it in my other video again, but like this line that says, "I love you on purpose," and it has stuck with me ever since I read it, and it is so beautiful. They fit so well together. Like, I know originally their relationship was kind of antagonistic, but I think they really evolved as friends. I loved them when they were like friends because their banter was just so hilarious. And then seeing like Henry, because like he's been pining for Alex for like years, and Alex has been pining for Henry for years, but he didn't realize that he was gay, so it didn't set in, so he was basically just like, oh, so I hate him, but really it was like, oh, so I want to kiss him. Okay, I'm very sorry that every video I have to change cameras. Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. This book is the first book in the Dark Artifices series, and it follows Emma and Julian. Now, childhood best friends turned lovers. I absolutely love these two. The way that Julian especially talks about Emma is so beautiful. And I don't know if it's canon, but I think it was said that Julian is demisexual, and basically that means that he's only attracted to someone when he knows them very well, and he has only ever loved Emma. And it's a really beautiful love story, and I think because this is my top 5, these are all what I consider as like epic love stories that I think will honestly go down in history for YA fantasy slash like romance, because like, oh, it was written so well and so beautifully. And yeah, there's this, my favorite scene with Emma and Julian, if you've read the series, is the scene where they're dancing together at the lottery, and her dress is like an open back, and her hair is down and covering her runes, and Julian is talking about how like she never wears her hair down and how like he loves her hair. And oh my god, and then he's like, because Julian is a painter, and he's talking about how if I was ever to paint your hair, you know, I wouldn't just use like yellow, I would have to add like white and other colors. I don't know how to paint. I would have to add all of these colors to create this gold cascade of like your hair, and I'm just like, this is so beautiful. It's like, it was such an intimate and beautiful moment that I felt like I shouldn't be reading it, because it was like just between the two of them, and it was so special. The Red Scrolls of Magic follows Magnus Bane and Alec Lightwood, and oh my gosh, there is not one scene in the like Mortal Instruments and Dark Artifices series that includes the two where I am not like flailing around like a seal out of water. Like, I love these two so much. And a big quote from these two, if I could sum it up all in one quote, it is his most iconic line ever. Oh my god. Okay, I want them to think Alec Lightwood loved one man so much he changed the world for him. Yeah, these two went through a lot with each other. Magnus is probably one of my favorite characters from the entire Shadowhunter Chronicles. So seeing him happy is just amazing, and it's just a really like amazing thing to have seen these two characters who love each other so much finally get the happy ever after that they deserve. The second and third spots can kind of interchange depending on how I'm feeling. So the next book, as of right now, is another Cassandra Clare book, and that is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. And that is between Heron Greystairs, which is a love triangle. But Cassandra Clare herself said that if this book had taken place in modern times, then the three of them would have been in a polygamous relationship, which is with more than two people. And that is Will Herondale, James/Jem Carstairs, and Tessa Herondale/Grey. Heron Greystairs will forever go down in history as the most beautifully well-written, the most well-executed love triangle I have ever read, that like anyone has ever read. I really, really love this series, and a big reason why I love this series is because of the epic love story. Basically, I make this comparison between Heron Greystairs with the Elena, Damon and Stefan love triangle, and how it is on that level intense and passionate and very epic, as that seems to be the word of the Vampire Diaries. But it is like on that level that these three characters like love each other so much and care about each other so much, and on that scale, beautifully well written, and I'm swooning thinking about it. Have you guys guessed what my number one ship is yet? Because honestly, it's kind of obvious at this point. But did my lights stop working? Did they stop this entire time? I'm sorry. Okay, so the second last book, Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I mentioned this book in every video, I'm pretty sure, because it's great. It's my favorite book after Percy Jackson. So obviously I'm going to mention it. Simon Snow and Tyrannus Basilton Pitch are... Baz has been pining for Simon ever since he was a kid, and Simon didn't realize he was bisexual until he fell in love with Baz. And actually he kissed Baz before he realized he was gay, which is so funny, and I think it's very fitting because the first half of the book is him trying to figure out why he can't stop thinking about Baz and constantly keeping tabs on him and being hyper aware of Baz's every movement. So the fact that it's him that makes the first move to kiss Baz makes it so much better, and makes me so happy that Rainbow Rowell did that, because when he's kissing him, he's just like, oh, you know, it all makes sense now. And I'm just like, you know, it all makes sense to me too, that I would never find a love like this ever in my life. Oh my god. I like summing up my couples with quotes because it helps you get a gauge for like they interact with each other and how another person feels about the other. And Baz has an obsession with fire, and Simon, on the other hand, when he uses his magic, he sets off like a smoky scent, so he smells like fire. And Baz, there's this quote about Baz, and he says like, I can't help thinking that this will end in flames. And it's really like foreshadowing, because they have their first kiss like in a forest that is on fire, and poetic cinema, my breath. And another quote slash scene is in the second book, Wayward Son. Oh my god, okay, so I found the quote where Baz is talking about kissing Simon. He says, my favorite part of kissing Simon when he's cold is the way he goes warm in my hands, like I'm the living campfire, like I'm the one who lives. I warm him in my arms, and then he warms me in his. he gives it all back to me. That's in Baz's point of view. Oh my god, I'm gonna start crying. And then on Simon's point of view, he says, I'd give him all that I am. I'd give him all that I was. I'd open up a vein. I'd tie our hearts together, chamber by chamber. And I think that symbolism of like giving someone else warmth despite being dead is just so beautiful. And y'all wonder why I have such high expectations for men. This is why. This is the exact reason why. Oh my goodness. If I keep talking about them, I'm gonna start crying. So I'm gonna stop talking about them. This is the moment you have all not been waiting for. Cause honestly, who really cares? The top #1, my OTP forever. This has not budged ever since I read the books. So I highly doubt anything is gonna take over the place of these two. It's not the first book because Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief is too hard for me to get from my shelf. So I picked up Mark of Athena, which is probably the most heart-wrenching book ending that I've ever had to deal with in my lifetime. Let me explain. Percy Jackson and Annabeth Chase, Percabeth if you will, are my OTP. I would give up everything in this world for them to be happy. And there's a lot of things in this world, you know? So, let's talk about why I love them. The tropes the trope between these two is the best, the childhood best friends. So they've known each other since they were 12. They have liked each other since they were 12. They were each other's first kiss when they were 15. He gave up immortality for her, and on the flip side, 2 years prior to that, she also gave up immortality for him, essentially. Are you willing to give up immortality for me? You know, I'm asking, future husband, where you at? Would you give up immortality for me? Honestly, at this point, I'm on like crackhead hours because yeah, they've been fighting side by side, like they've had each other's backs since they were 12, so they know each other so well that like there are instances, especially in this book, where they can just communicate with each other without speaking. And I love seeing their relationship from other people's point of views because you can see just how well that these two people understand each other. It's cute like seeing their like childhood crushes on each other. And then in this book as well, Annabeth, she admits that she's had a crush on Percy since she was 12, and it's just like, it's so cute. The biggest show of their relationship and their willingness to do anything for each other is shown, I think, the best in Mark of Athena. If you know what happens in Mark of Athena, you probably know what I'm talking about. But at the end of the book, I think it's best if I read it out. For context, they have just fallen into this like huge hole, and this hole basically leads them down to Tartarus, and Tartarus is basically it's like the hell of hells. So basically, Annabeth has just been like yanked by another monster, and she's like hanging on the ledge, and obviously Percy catches her and he's holding on to something. "Percy, let me go," she croaked. "You can't pull me up." His face was white with effort. You could see in his eyes that he knew it was hopeless. "Never," he said. Quick note, saw this on like Instagram, I think, but the 2 times that Percy ever says never to Annabeth is in Percy Jackson and the Titan's Curse, when she asks him, "You didn't believe I was dead?" and he says never. And then the second time he ever says it is when she tells him to let her go. Percy tightened his grip on Annabeth's wrist. His face was gaunt, scraped and bloody, his hair dusted with cobwebs. But when he locked eyes with her, she thought he had never looked more handsome. Okay. We're staying together, he promised. You're not getting away from me. Never again. As long as we're together, she said. Then Percy let go of his tiny ledge, and together, holding hands, he and Annabeth fell into the endless darkness. I wish one day to have my epic Percy and Annabeth love. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I only cried like twice, but it's okay. I hope you guys have a really good Valentine's Day as well. I hope if you have a Valentine, make sure that they know that you love them and that you care for them. If you don't have a Valentine, sucks to be you. I'm sorry. No, but like, honestly, Valentine's Day is, it's all a social construct. But it's probably afternoon for me, you know. Hope you guys have a good afternoon, but whatever time that you are watching this, have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Oh, and links and stuff will be down below. Like, comment, subscribe, post notifications. You know the deal. Oh yeah, wait. Goodbye.